Striker Scorpion 82 is now sponsored by Warhammer Combat Cards, a card battle game featuring your favourite Citadel miniatures from the 40k universe. Build your army decks, dominate opponents in player versus player action, collect and upgrade cards to fit your strategy, improve their power and unlock unique traits. Choose from all 40k factions, take part in campaigns based on iconic 40k battles, rise to the top of the leaderboard and win glory. Free to download and play. Link is in the video description below or on the channel homepage, and by using the unique link it helps support the channel. Thanks and enjoy the game. Right, welcome to this review video for the new Adepta Sororitas Codex, or Sisters of Battle. So a big thank you to Games Workshop. They've sent me a copy through the post, so it will be a full review. We'll go through the entire book, we'll flick through the fluff and the pictures, and then we'll come through to the rules. It'll be like a Tactica review, so if I was to collect these, obviously Tom KOYO collects Sisters of Battle on the channel. He's got a full army. He's busily painting up units to be added into his force, some of the newer models. So excited to see what direction he decides to go with his army. But if I was to collect these, I'll give my own input and feedback on what units I think are good, and stratagems, and relics, warlord traits and so on. We'll cover all of that here in this video. So it'll be a full exhaustive review here as we go through the new codex for the Sisters of Battle. So at this point I just mentioned the channel sponsors, Goblin Gaming. You can check them out for discount 40k. It's 20% off Warhammer, so that's Warhammer 40,000, Warhammer, the other systems, a load of other gaming systems on their website as well. So you can check them out for discount 40k and more. There is a link in the video description below. If you use the unique link, then it does help the channel in a small way. Just helps support us here on the channel when you use that link for your purchases from Goblin Gaming. So expecting the usual format here with the codexes, which has been excellent so far. I've been impressed by all the codexes coming out from Games Workshop. I think they're very, very well put together. The rules for them are excellent. Everything just seems to link up very well. It's a very professional approach to the codexes. They do seem to be going in the usual upward trend of getting more and more powerful, what's called the codex creep, as the initial codexes that came out redone for 9th edition, the ones that come along later just seem to be getting stronger and stronger. So expecting some powerful stuff here for the Sisters of Battle, one of the newer codexes, or the recent codex that Games Workshop have released. So we'll see. We shall see. So usual format, hardcover, beautifully produced, a slightly wider format as well, which is nice for all of the artwork. So Sisters of Battle, I think they pair up quite nicely with Dark Angels, sort of like very grim dark, fighting in the sort of hive cities, fighting against the darker, more sinister factions, especially a lot of chaos demons and so on. Sisters of Battle getting stuck in against those kind of targets. There's some new units as well. I'll cover all the rules for them. Some amazing new units, sculpt wise, concept wise, brilliant. Just loving the idea of these mace and shield equipped sisters here. Brilliant idea. The quality of models coming out from Games Workshop, the sculpt and design and concept of them has been about the best they've ever been in recent times for whatever faction, and and different gaming systems as well. Age of Sigmar, incredible models as well. So beautiful celebration of the artwork. This is the structure of them here, the hierarchy. This is the new HQ choice, Morven Vale, or Val. Check out her stats later on. The Wars of Faith. There's Celestine, the Living Saint. Tons of artwork now. What a rescue Games Workshop did with this faction. A massive range of models now. Loads of artwork for them. It really is good. Brilliant job from Games Workshop. They promised, or they hinted they would bring Sisters back, but they've come back with a vengeance here. Really good. And something a bit different to Space Marines. Maybe you're interested in sort of the Space Marine idea, but don't want to go down the route of yellow, blue, green or red Space Marines. Instead, this is a battle grade option. It's got that a little bit of a Space Marine feel, but they're entirely different. The Order's Militant. The Order of our Martyred Lady, so there's different orders you can take. The Valorous Heart, Bloody Rose, amazing piece of artwork, that one there. Order of the Ebon Chalice. Order of the Argent Shroud. Order of the Sacred Rose. And then smaller orders minoris here. The Glowing Chalice. Order of the Fawn. Order of the Iron Vow. Order of the Golden Light. Order of the Wounded Heart, Order of the Ashen Shrine. You've got non-militant orders. Loads of artwork now, really have expanded on it. And then now the miniatures. It's all in plastic, I believe, the whole range. That's giving you an idea of the colour scheme for the different orders here. Pretty much running black, red, white throughout. The Mortifier, Acro Flagellants, some characters, Hospitaller, and Dialogus. Yeah, Fighting Radiance, Chaos. This is the newer models here, the Paragon warsuits, Seraphim, been up against them a number of times. Let's see how the rules have changed. Yeah, Celestian, Sacrosanct. Love the idea. These shields here, these bronze brass shields. The little bolt pistol and blade. Very, very cool. Very good. The Paragon warsuit. Brilliant concept. This is all very, very good new models here. Beautiful. Yeah, they've done the new tank, the Castigator. Just like a holy predator. Sort of idea with that. The Immolators. They've got their own vehicles, their own themed vehicles. Brilliant range of models now. Great time to collect them. So detachment abilities then. So talking about keywords. Troops units gain objectives secured, just the usual stuff. Then decree passive. You can include a maximum of one canoness model and one missionary model in this detachment. You can include more cult imperialist priest units in this detachment than there are Adepta Sororitas character units. Just clarifying the structure of your army. And then order convictions. All Adepta Sororitas units with this ability and all the models in them gain an order conviction as long as every unit. So it's just the same as chapters and so on for Space Marines. So the order's militant. Just talking about the structure of them. Again, they gain those roles if every model in the detachment is from the Order Militant and drawn from the same Order Militant. So we'll be seeing what each of the orders gets. Yeah. So do this all with factions now. Sort of special abilities on these little as chapters or militants or whatever it is for different orders. So, I mean, all the factions are getting it here, just different types, orders, chapters, forge rods, whatever it is, with their own unique abilities, and it unlocks abilities, warlord traits, relics, stratagems, and so on. So, Order of our Martyred Lady first of all. So, the Blood of Martyrs. So we'll see which of these appears to be better. At the end of any phase, other than the morale phase in which any units of this conviction are destroyed, you gain 1 miracle dice. This is in addition to any miracle dice gained at the end of the phase in which a character unit of this conviction was destroyed. So extra miracle dice, which I've seen how useful they are, so off to a good start. Each time an attack is made by model of this conviction, if this unit is below its starting strength, add 1 to the attack's hit roll. So they go a bit crazy once they start losing models. That's alright, yeah. I don't know, usually you're looking for buffs to be given to units when they're at their strength, not when they're cut down, so that's alright, but it's not that great. Honour of the Martyrs, 1 CP, this is a stratagem. Use this stratagem at the end of any phase in which an Order of a Martyred Lady model from your army was destroyed by an enemy unit, excluding models that were destroyed and subsequently returned to the battlefield that phase due to any rules, for example Divine Intervention stratagem. Until the end of the battle, each time an Order of a Martyred Lady model makes an attack against an enemy unit, add 1 to the attack's wound rolls, extra wound roll. Plus 1 to the wound roll, which is always useful. Warlord trait Shield Bearer. Each time an attack is allocated to this warlord, subtract 1 from the damage characteristic of that attack. So that's very good. Each time you gain a miracle dice at the end of the phase. End of a phase, a result of vengeance. If this warlord destroyed any enemy units during the phase, that miracle dice is automatically a 6. And then each time you gain a miracle dice at the end of the phase as a result of a sacrifice, or if this warlord was destroyed during that phase, the miracle dice is automatically a 6. Okay, and then the relic, Martyr's Vengeance. So it replaces the Inferno pistol, and it gives you range 12, which is excellent. Pistol 1, strength 9, -4, and d6 +3 damage. So one pistol shot can virtually take out a tank. Oh boy. No, certainly no Codex creep here. Order of the Valorous Heart, Stoic Endurance. Each time model this conviction would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound, roll 1d6, and a 5+ the wound is not lost. So perhaps you find yourself up against a lot of psychic heavy stuff and you take Valorous Heart. Each time attack is allocated to model this conviction, if the attack has an armor penetration characteristic of -1 or -2, the penetration is reduced by 1. So AP -1 becomes 0, and then -2 becomes -1. So that's all good. Good combo, that one. So adding to durability, Blind Faith on CP. Use the stratagem in shooting phase and order of the Valorous Heart unit from your army select to shoot, or in the fight phase when selected to fight. At the end of the phase, each time all the unit makes an attack, you ignore any or all modifier rolls, ballistic skill and weapon skill modifiers. Which is alright, but it's usually capped, isn't it, at -1. So, Warlord trait, Impervious to Pain. Each time this Warlord performs an act of faith, it regains a lost wound, and each time this Warlord will lose a wound as a result. Sorry, each time it lose a wound, it's a 5+ feel no pain. So it's okay. And then Relic, Casket of Penance. Order of the Valorous Heart model. The bearer has the following ability: Casket of Penance, aura while an enemy unit is within 3 inches of the bearer, subtract 1 for the toughness characteristic of models in that enemy unit. If the unit has the Chaos keyword, subtract 1 from its strength characteristic as well. Okay. So, yeah, I'm just thinking I should have talked about it at the beginning, just the theme of Adepta Sororitas, or Sisters of Battle. They kind of... It's hard to say really. They seem to be an army that's sort of a medium, sort of sitting somewhere in the middle. It's not full on close combat, not full on gun line. Seems to be an army that's quite happy to move elements of its force out aggressively. There's certainly some very aggressive units, but also others that will move up more cautiously, providing firepower support. So it seems to be an army you can get a good balance and mix of different units. It's not a full on assault type force, and it's not full on gun line. It's sort of sitting there somewhere in the middle. And an army that for 9th edition you're going to need to move out to the middle of the table. So it seems to be like a combined effort, pushing forwards and then sending out certain units to fight in close combat. Seems to be the thing. That seems the way that Tom plays and uses his, and they've done very well so far in their games. So that's what I've been looking at here. Sort of a core part of the army, and then supporting units to provide a bit of punch in close combat. Order of the Bloody Rose next. So each time unit is so that's what we're looking for here. So we're looking for something to help out in that regard. Yeah, I mean even here with ability helping you with your endurance, you're going to be moving out, you're going to be taking damage. So things like that can certainly help out just to keep the models on the board for as long as possible. Quick to anger. Each time a unit's conviction fights, if it made a charge move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention, then until the fight's resolved, add 1 to the attack's characteristics, an extra attack. Handy enough. Yes, I was also saying what you can do, what Tom's done, is split the detachments. If you're going to mix the army up, have a certain more close combat element and a bit of firepower, you can go different detachments with different abilities to try and amplify both as much as possible. So that's a good idea as well. Each time model this conviction makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move, was charged or performed a heroic intervention, improve the armor penetration characteristic as well. So +1 attack, extra AP -1. I go for all my close combat units and put them in Order of the Bloody Rose. That's excellent. You know, sort of core rules for that order. fantastic. Tear them down, so this is starting off really well. Then you've got access to the Stratagem 1 CP, use it in the fight phase. In order of the Bloody Rose unit from army selected to fight until the end of that phase, each time model that unit makes a melee attack, a modified hit roll of 6 is auto wounds. Fantastic. Warlord trait, Blazing Ire. Add 1 to attack's characteristic of this Warlord, and the Warlord is eligible to charge in a turn in which it advanced. Great. This is all excellent. Very, very aggressive here for close combat. And then the Beneficence Relic. Order of the Bloody Rose, equipped with a chainsword. So with that you get +2 strength, AP -2, and 1 damage. You get 3 extra attacks. If there are 6 or more enemy models within 3 inches, you get D3 plus 3 additional attacks. So loads of extra attacks for that chainsword. Which is alright. Yep, not bad at all. Order of the Ebon Chalice is next, Daughters of the Emperor. If any units in your army have this conviction, when you determine which sacred rites are active for your army, after you've determined your mission, you cannot randomly select 2 sacred rites. Instead, after you have selected 1 sacred rite, you must then select a second. Both of these are active for your army. If this rites are active for units from your army with this conviction, only the first is active for other units from your army with the sacred rites ability. Each time model this unit with this conviction performs an act of faith, you can first discard 1 miracle dice. If you do so, 1 miracle dice you use with the act of faith is considered to be a 6. And then Cleansing Flames. Use your stratagem in shooting phase in Order of the Ebon Chalice unit from army select to shoot. So you get +4 range to all flame weapons. Great. And the models, and then each time model that unit makes an attack with a flame weapon, a modified wound roll of a 4+, the target suffers a mortal wound in addition to normal damage, but it's capped at 3 sensibly enough. So a good way of picking up some mortal wounds. The Warlord trait, Terrible Knowledge. If this Warlord is on the battlefield, the miracle dice you gain at the start of the battle round is automatically a 6, and then while the Warlord is on the battlefield, each time you spend a command point to use a stratagem, and a 5+, the command point is refunded. And Enunciation of the Creed. It's a model equipped with a Condemnor bolt gun. With that you get Enunciation of the Creed. Bolt gun is range 24, rapid fire 1, strength 4, -0 and 1 damage. A Blessed Stake. Next. Is range 24, assault 1, strength 4, -2, 2 damage. Before selecting targets, select one or both of the profiles above to make attacks with. If you select both, then it's -1 to the hit roll. Each time you select to target this weapon, ignore Lookout Sir. So, sort of trying to snipe out a vampire. Each time an attack is made with this weapon's Blessed Stake profile is allocated to a Psyker. That model's unit suffers 3 mortal wounds, in addition to the normal damage. Cool. So, that's ridiculous, because say one of my Exalted Sorcerers, a Psyker, 5 wound model, you just get your 1 wound through, you'll get damage 2, +3 mortal wounds. Yeah, and that will kill him. Range 24, not bad. Order of the Argent Shroud is next, Deeds Not Words. Each time a unit with this conviction makes a normal move or advances in the movement phase until the end of the shooting phase, it counts as having remained stationary. Then each time a unit with this conviction is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll when resolving that unit's attacks. That's alright. Faith is our shield. Use your stratagem in any phase and Order of the Argent Shroud model from your army would lose a wound as a result of a mortal wound. At the end of that phase, it's a Feel No Pain of 4+, which is excellent. Warlord trait, Selfless Heroism. The Warlord is eligible to perform heroic intervention if it's 6 inches horizontally and 5 inches vertically of any enemy units instead of 3 and 5. Each time this Warlord makes heroic intervention move, it can move up to 6 inches. Start the fight phase. If this Warlord is within engagement range of enemy units, it can fight first that phase. That is excellent. It's really, really good. Yeah, but it lets you fight first. It doesn't stop. It doesn't make the opponent's unit fight last. There's a big difference. Quicksilver Veil, it's a relic. Order of the Argent Shroud model only. Only 3 inches to the bearer's move. Added on, and each time an attack is made against the bearer, it's -1 to the hit roll. So that's alright. Not bad. Next is Order of the Sacred Rose. So, Devout Serenity. Each time a combat attrition test, this is never that great, it's automatically passed. Alright, it's quite rare though. That comes up as a problem. Each time you use a miracle dice, when a model or unit from this conviction performs an act of faith, roll 1d6 and a 4+ to gain a miracle dice. The Emperor's Judgment Stratagem. Use a stratagem in the shooting phase. When an Order of the Sacred Rose unit from your army is selected to shoot, at the end of that phase, each time an attack is made with a ranged weapon by a model in that unit, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. Okay, it's not that great. I'm liking the Bloody Rose here. Straightforward, powerful bonuses. Seems to be the best one for close combat. It's geared for combat though. I don't know. I've seen it before. A sort of a super aggressive combat-based Sisters army. Is that possible now with the new unit releases? Is the question. There's more units that can be called upon just to go hyper aggressive, and then put them in as Order of the Bloody Rose and make them as powerful as possible. So, as back across here, Warlord trait, Light of the Divine. Once per turn, when this Warlord performs an act of faith, one miracle dice used, the act of faith is considered to be a 6. And the Warlord has the following ability: Light of the Divine Aura. On a friendly Order of the Sacred Rose unit is within 6 inches. If that core unit falls back, it's still eligible to shoot this turn. There's no minus to that, so yeah, it's okay. Not bad. Light of Saint Agneafa. Not sure how it's pronounced. Order of the Sacred Rose with a brazier of holy fire. With that you get range 12, assault d6, and then there's nothing here. It says each time an attack is made with this weapon, that attack is an auto hit. Unmodified wound roll of 4+, and on an unmodified wound roll of 4+ or 2+, if the target contains any demon models, the target suffers 1 mortal wound. And the attack sequence ends. So it's assault d6, right? So you can average out 2 or 3 mortal wounds from that. Minoris convictions then, so I take it you can go for the combo. Yeah, you get to choose 2. Yeah, so you're looking to do your own combination, which could lead to something pretty good. So, Shield of Aversion, each time attack with an armor penetration characteristic of -1 is allocated to model this conviction. It's treated as 0, so that's usually pretty good. It helps out infantry stuff. Hallowed Martyrs. Each time attack is made by model this conviction. If that model's unit is below half its strength, it's +1 to the hit roll. So we've seen some of these already, but it's just letting you recombine them how you want. Conviction of Faith. If every unit from your army has an order conviction, has an order conviction. If every unit from your army that has an order conviction has this conviction, each time you gain a miracle dice. If the value of that dice is a 1, you can reroll that dice before adding it to your miracle dice pool. Okay, and then Devout Fanaticism. Each time a unit of this conviction fights, if it made a charge move, was charged, formed a convention this turn until the fight is resolved. Each time model that unit makes an attack, it's +1 to the hit roll. And you cannot select this conviction you've already selected. If you've already selected Holy Wrath, so you can't. That's limiting you in your combinations. That one's pretty good. +1 to the hit roll. And then Guided by the Emperor's Will. Each time model of this unit with this conviction is selected to shoot or fight, you can reroll 1 hit roll or 1 wound roll and resolve the unit's attacks. Again, yeah, it's that great. So next is Holy Wrath. Each time model of this conviction makes a melee attack, if that model's unit made a charge move, was charged, formed a heroic intervention, and improve that attack's armor penetration characteristic by 1. Okay, and then you cannot select this conviction you've already selected, Devout Fanaticism. Shame you can't do the double combo on that one, but they say no. In the Footsteps of Saints, you cannot select this Order Minoris conviction if you've selected any other Order Minoris conviction. And if you select this conviction, you cannot select a second. Select one of the following orders militant: Order of a Martyred Lady, Order of the Valorous Heart, Order of the Bloody Rose, Order of the Ebon Chalice, and so on and so on. Use this order convictions of the Order militant you selected as listed on pages. Right, so use that. If a character with this conviction gains a Warlord trait, they can have an Order's militant Warlord trait associated. It's just saying it unlocks access to that. Yeah, okay. So, Perfervid Belief. Perfervid Belief. Okay. Each time model in this unit with this conviction performs an act of faith, you can first discard 1 miracle dice. If If you do so, one miracle dice you use in that act of faith is considered to be a 6. Purifying recitations. Each time a deny the witch test is taken for a unit of the super conviction, add 3 to the result. This is not cumulative of any other rule. Okay, plus 3 though. Amazing. Raging fervour. Each time model of this conviction makes an attack with a melter weapon, the target of that attack is considered to be in half range for the purposes of the weapon's ability. If that weapon has the pistol or assault type, that weapon has the heavy type, and the target is within 18 inches of the firing model. That's quite useful. If you can rely on heavy firepower, that one is very good actually. Considered to be in half range. Nice. Yeah, really good. You cannot select this conviction if you've already selected the rights of fire. See below, or unshakable vengeance. See right. Okay, rights of fire then. Add 4 inches to the range of all flame weapons that models with this conviction are equipped with. You cannot select this conviction if you've already selected either the raging fervour or unshakable vengeance. Righteous suffering is next. Each time an attack is made against a unit of this conviction, a modified wound roll 1 to 2 for that attack or fails, irrespective of any abilities the weapon or the model making the attack may have. So, yes, okay, and then it's just quite rare that comes up against you to make it worthwhile. So when you're trying to choose these, you're trying to look for ones that will apply to your army a lot of the time, so you get good use out of them, good value. Slayers of heretics. Each time model of this conviction makes an attack against a character, it's +1 to the hit roll. That's straightforward. Unbridled valour. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for a unit of this conviction, add 1 to the combat attrition test. Unshakable vengeance. So these two here, for example, are just sort of they're not army wide. You know, they're quite limited to certain situations at certain times, and so I don't really get too much value out of them. Unshakable vengeance. Each time model of this conviction makes an attack with a bolt weapon, you can ignore any or all hit roll and ballistic skill modifiers, and you cannot select this conviction. You already have rights of fire or raging fervour. And then witch hunters. Each time a unit of this conviction makes a melee attack against a psychic unit, you can reroll hit roll of 1. If the melee attack is made against a psychic character, you can reroll hit roll of 1 and reroll wound roll of 1. Yeah, it's not that great. So we're on to stratagems now. See if there's any real golden nuggets here. So stratagems then. Cleansed by fire, 2 CP. So we're looking for 2 elements to this. The ability to help units strike hard in close combat. The Sisters of Battle do have plenty of units that can do that. And also looking for a bit of firepower support to try and hit the enemy hard with firepower from various targets. So we're looking for some decent stratagems to help out with that. So cleansed by fire, 2 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. Adeptus Ministorum unit from your army is chosen to shoot with. To the end of that phase, when a model unit shoots a flame weapon, do not roll to determine the number of attacks made with the weapon. Instead, the maximum number of attacks are available. So heavy D6 becomes heavy 6. So in certain situations that could be pretty good. Cost you 2 CP though. Embodied prophecy, 2 CP. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. Select one Seraphim squad from your army. To the end of that phase, each time a model in that unit makes an attack, it's +1 to the attack's wound roll. It costs you 2 CP to do it though. Oof, expensive enough. And then exceptional proficiency. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase when a Celestian unit from your army is selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when picked to fight. To the end of that phase, each time one of that unit makes an attack, it's +1 to the attack's hit rolls. +1 to the hit rolls. Other factions have something similar. Extremist trigger word. A trigger word. 1 CP. Use this stratagem in the fight phase an acro flagellants unit from your army is selected to fight. To the end of that phase, change the ability of all acro flail models in that unit are equipped with to the following. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, make 3 hit rolls instead of 1. At the end of the phase, roll 1d6 for each model in that unit. For each one model when that unit is destroyed. Nice. Just a ton of hits. Add Suffer Not the Witch, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in shooting phase. Adeptus Ministorum unit from your army selected to shoot, or in the fight phase when selected to fight. At the end of the phase, each time a model when that unit makes an attack against a psychic unit, add 1 to that attack's hit roll. If the attack is made by Adeptus Ministorum character model, add 1 to the attack's hit roll and add 1 to the attack's wound roll. Not bad. Yeah, Divine Intervention. Use a stratagem Adepta Sororitas character model from your army, exclude named characters from your army is destroyed. Instead of using any rules that are triggered when a model is destroyed, at the end of that phase, each set that model back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where it was destroyed and not within engagement range of enemy models. The model is returned to play with a number of wounds remaining equal to the number of miracle dice you discard. Wow, okay. And you cannot use this stratagem if you do not have any miracle dice remaining. This stratagem can only be used once per battle. But excellent. Nice ability to bring character back and stack up the wounds as well. Fantastic. So you can't use it on named characters though. Yeah, only named characters. Not named characters. So Celestine can't do it, for example, but she's got her own thing anyway. Fiery Oratory, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in any of your phases other than your command phase. Select one Minister on Priest model from your army that's not intoned a hymn this turn. That model can intone one hymn that it knows and has not already been intoned by a friendly model this turn. That hymn is automatically inspiring, do not roll, and takes effect until the start of your next command phase. So it's handy to have it automatically inspiring. Yeah. Martyr's Immolation. Use a stratagem, it's 1 CP. Use a stratagem when an immolator model from your army is equipped with Immolation Flamers is destroyed. Do not roll to see if it explodes. It's automatic, so it's available if you need it. Rites of Restoration, 1 CP. Use your stratagem at the end of your movement phase. Select one Hospitaller unit from your army. And then select one friendly Adeptus Ministorum Core Infantry unit that is not at its starting strength and is within 3 inches of that Hospitaller unit. So up to D3 of the selected friendly units, destroyed models are returned to its unit with their full wounds remaining. Nice. I love returning models to play. Anything that helps out with that's very cool. So there's a stratagem that can help with that one. Excellent. Only 1 CP as well. Martyred, 1 CP. Use your stratagem, you gain a miracle dice. Due to sacrifice, you gain 1 additional miracle dice. If the model was destroyed, was an Adepta Sororitas Warlord from your army, you instead gain D3 plus 1 additional miracle dice. Moment of Grace, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in making a hit roll wound roll for an attack made by Adepta Sororitas model from your army, or after making a saving throw for an Adepta Sororitas model from your army. Discard 1 to 2 miracle dice from your miracle dice pool and add 1 to the result of the roll for each miracle dice you discard. You cannot use this stratagem if you do not have any miracle dice remaining. Suffering and Sacrifice, 1 CP. Use your stratagem in the fight phase. Select one Adepta Sororitas Warlord, Saint Potentia or Living Saint unit from your army, excluding vehicle units. To the end of that phase, the unit is known as your Suffering unit. And to the end of the phase, each time an enemy unit is selected to fight, if a model in the enemy unit is within engagement range of your Suffering unit, when your opponent is selected, you're selecting targets for its attacks. Those attacks can only target your Suffering unit. Nice. Good theme, though. Nice concept. Open the reliquaries. So this is extra warlord traits, I believe. A Sacred Burden. It's the word superior. So the superiors get access to certain traits, relics, and so on. And then Saint in the Making, 1 CP. Yeah, select one character excluding no determine warlord traits. That's your warlord traits. And that's relics at the top. So extra relic, extra warlord trait being granted with that. Okay, and then another 2 pages, that should be it. Usually stops at 2, yeah, so another 2 pages of relics. Okay, so Angelic Ascent next, 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the start of the movement phase. Select one Adepta Sororitas jump pack unit from your army, such as the Seraphim, for example. Remove that unit from the battlefield in the reinforcement step your next movement phase, so you can just read Deep Strike them back in. So certainly a useful one. Battle Rights, 1 command point. Use the stratagem at the start of the battle round if your Warlord has the Adepta Sororitas keyword and it's on the battlefield. Roll 1d6 to randomly generate a Sacred Rite. Roll again if the result is a Sacred Rite that is currently active for your army. Then you can select one Sacred Rite that is currently active for your army and replace it with the result that you just rolled. The replaced Sacred Rite is no longer active for your army. And the Sacred Rite just rolled becomes active for your army. You can only use a stratagem once. So it's just some tactical stuff coming in here. Deadly Descents. 1 command point, use a stratagem at the end of the movement phase. Select one Zeraphim squad from your army that was set up as reinforcements on the battlefield this turn. That unit can shoot as if it were the shooting phase. Okay. Right. So, in a turn they'll get to shoot twice then, I guess. So you can shoot in the movement phase, doesn't say there's any restriction when it comes around to the shooting phase, and you get to shoot again. Brilliant. Next is Defenders of the Faith. 2 CP, use the stratagem at the end of the movement phase, select one Battle Sisters squad from your army that is within range of an objective marker on the battlefield. To the start of the next movement phase, instead of following the normal rules for rapid fire weapons, models in this unit shooting rapid fire bolt weapons make double the number of attacks. For the purposes of the stratagem, a rapid fire bolt weapon is any weapon as defined on page 121 with the rapid fire type. So loads of firepower. Defenders of the Faith, 2 CP though. And then each time an attack is made against this unit, an unmodified wind roll of 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of any abilities that the weapon or the model making the attack may have. So double bonus then, they're both pretty good. I guess it's worth the 2 CP. Desperate for Redemption. Use a stratagem in the fight phase. When a Sisters repent a unit from your army is targeted by a melee attack, at the end of the phase, each time model in that unit is destroyed by melee attack. If that model was not fought this phase, do not remove it from play. The destroyed model can fight after attacking models have finished making attacks. After doing so, any other rules that affect this model when it is destroyed are triggered. If any, then the model is removed from play. So, excellent. Yeah, get to fight with the squad before removal from play. So, all very helpful, these ones. Devastating Refrain, 2 CP. Use the stratagem in your shooting phase. When an Exorcist model from your army is selected to shoot, at the end of that phase, the model's Exorcist missile launcher or Exorcist conflagration rockets can target units that are not visible to the bearer. Brilliant. Very, very useful. One thing I would say, a lot of these are coming at 2 CP, so it would be worth having a good number of command points in your army to make sure you can afford these ones throughout the game. You soon get through them when they're 2 CP at a time. You soon get through your command points because some of these are quite useful. That one for Repent is excellent. That one for the X is just the cost of it though, 2 CP. Holy Rage, 1 or 2 CP. Use your stratagem at the start of your charge phase. Select one Adepta Sororitas core unit from your army. To the start of your next command phase, that unit gains the Zealot ability or the Fanatic ability. So Zealot, each time model in this unit makes a melee attack. If that unit made a charge move, was charged, performed rogue intervention, you can reroll the attack's hit roll. Or Fanatic, this unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it fell back. So useful. And it's 1 or 2 depending on the size of the unit. No, it's not. If the unit is within 6 inches of a Minotaur Priest, it costs 1. Otherwise it costs 2. Purity of Faith, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your opponent's psychic phase after a psychic test is passed for an enemy psyker, and after any Deny the Witch attempts is made, if any. If the enemy psyker is within 24 of any Adepta Sororitas units from your army, roll 1d6 and a 4+, the psychic power is denied. So, the powers manifest, you can attempt to deny it if you can, and even if that fails, you can then play the stratagem, and there's half a chance of blocking the power. Great, very, very helpful. Faith and Fury. On CP, use a stratagem after any Sisters unit from your army has performed an act of Faith for an attack's hit roll. You can reuse the same miracle dice for that attack's wound roll. Yeah, great, yeah, useful. I'd use that. Nice, easy going, reliable. Yeah, you get use a 6 for your, or whatever the miracle dice result is, and then it's fixed going through into the wound roll as well. Brilliant. Just guiding that roll all the way through to the damage. Final Redemption, 1 CP. Use the stratagem in the fight phase. An Engine of Redemption unit from army is targeted by melee attack. To the end of the phase, each time model on this unit is destroyed by a melee attack, roll 1d6 and a 4+. After the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, it suffers d3 mortal wounds. And Judgment of the Faithful. Use the stratagem in your movement phase. An Adepta Sororitas core unit from your army falls back. This unit is still eligible to shoot, even though it fell back. Again, very, very helpful. These all really They're all good really, these stratagems. They're helpful enough. Righteous Impact. Use a stratagem in your charge phase and a Paragon warsuits or Engine of Redemption unit from your army finishes a charge move. Select one enemy unit of engagement range. Roll 1d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of the enemy unit. For each dice roll that results, each dice result that equals or exceeds the toughness suffers a mortal wound. For each unmodified roll of a 6, it's d3 mortal wounds. So a chance to cause some mortal wounds. Okay, yeah, helpful. Blessed Bolts, 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase and a sister's unit from your army selected to shoot. At the end of that phase, each time an attack is made with an artificer crafted storm bolter by a model in that unit. Unmodified hit roll of a 6. The target suffers 2 mortal wounds. The attack sequence ends. Sounds good. Just, I guess, depends on how many shots you get him. Looking for those 6s. And then Holy Smokescreen. 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your command phase. Adepta Sororitas Smokescreen unit for armor. So that's the -1 to hit roll, same as smoke launchers. Holy Trinity. 1 CP. Use a stratagem in your shooting phase. When a sister's unit for army selected to shoot, select one eligible target for that unit that is within range and visible. At least one model in that unit equipped with a bolt weapon, one model in that unit equipped with a flame weapon, and one model in that unit equipped with a melter weapon. At the end of that phase, models in that unit can only make attacks that target the enemy unit, but each time an attack is made with a bolt weapon, a flame weapon, or a melter weapon, it's +1 to the wound roll. So that's alright if you've got the right combination. It only costs you a CP. So good, there's some stuff to help out even your basic Battle Sister squads here. Inviolate Shield Wall, 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of the fight phase. Select one of the Celestians, Sacrosancts, or Crusaders unit from your army. At the end of that phase, each time an attack is made against that unit, it's -1 to the attack's wound roll. Again, helpful enough. And then Thrice Blessed Hull, 1 CP. Use a stratagem at the start of the opponent's psychic phase. Select one hallowed model from your army. At the end of that phase, the model gains the following ability: Thrice Blessed Hull Aura. While enemy psychos in 12 of this model, each time a psychic test is taken for that unit, and that test is failed, the psycho suffers Heralds of the Warps. A bit obscure that one, but I think that'd be rarely used, but maybe. Okay, so stratagems all seem healthy enough. So then, Blessings of the Faithful. So this is like your upgrades like Chapter Master and Master of Sanctity and so on. Sisters have got something similar. So the blessings that you can give out then is Word of the Emperor, costs you +2 power of 40 points. Rapturous Blows, +1 power of 25 points. Blinding Radiance, +2 power 30 points. The Emperor's Grace, +1 and then +20 points. Righteous Judgment, +1 +25 points. And Divine Deliverance, +1 and then +15 points. So just the usual restrictions here. You can't give these to named characters and so on. So, Blessing of the Faithful. To use a Blessing of the Faithful's Miraculous ability, you must, in your command phase, discard a miracle dice. That ability is then activated and lasts until the start of your next command phase. Each Miraculous ability can only be activated once per battle, and you cannot activate more than one Miraculous ability per battle round. Miraculous abilities affect enemy models or units within miracle range. This is determined by the value of the miracle dice that was discarded, as shown in the table below. Note that while similar in many regards to aura abilities, miraculous abilities are not affected by abilities that affect aura abilities, and vice versa. Yeah, so the way it's working here, the models you can upgrade is a Canoness or a Palatine. You pay for your upgrade, you get your basic power, you get 2 associated abilities here for each of these. So we'll go through those in just a moment. The first ability add is the Blessing that the Faithful gains. That's your inbuilt power that you've paid your points for. Then the second ability, you unlock that by paying your miracle dice. So, and it's got a chart here. Value of a discarded miracle dice: 1 is 1 inch, 2 to 5 is 3 inch, and 6 is 6 inches. Oh, for creating your aura. Right, so if you're going to use, the higher the value of the miracle dice, the bigger the aura is going to be. So it doesn't mean you can just discard your rubbish dice rolls. For miracle dice, you're going to get a benefit for using up like your 6s and 5s and so on. So again, it's your third power's built in, you're paying your points for it. Second power you'll get when you pay your miracle dice to use it. So, Word of the Emperor then, this is 40 points, this is the most expensive one. At the start of the fight phase, you can select one enemy unit within 3 inches of this model. The unit is not eligible to fight this phase until after all other eligible units have done so. So it's just shutting them down, stopping them from fighting until the end of the phase. So it is a big one. Very, very useful indeed. Miraculous ability then, you're going to use miracle dice. While an enemy unit is within miracle range of this model, each time model in a friendly, ordered core or ordered character unit makes a melee attack against that enemy unit, invuln saves cannot be... no invuln saves allowed. Oh boy. God, that's a miracle. That's a miracle and a half. Okay. Ouch. Right, so I imagine that's going to be very, very popular. Next one. So this is very powerful. It's interesting because Adeptus Mechanicus equivalent of this is a bit mediocre, it's okay, but immediately off to a very powerful start here for the sisters. Wow. Word of the Emperor's excellent. Very, very good. I wonder what the others will do. So the next one, Rapturous Blows. This is 25 points for this one. +1 to strength and damage characteristics of all melee weapons this model is equipped with. Excellent. And then the Miraculous ability, while a friendly, ordered core or character unit is within miracle range of this model, each time model in that unit makes a melee attack on an unmodified wound roll of a 6, that attack inflicts 1 mortal wound in addition to the normal damage. So yeah, if you're getting tons of attacks, then that is very, very useful indeed. So you time these right, it's like this miracle happens at just the right point in the battle. It's a great theme for sisters, but you're really getting a good representation of that here. These are really good. Next one's Divine Deliverance. This costs 30. This is the second most expensive. At the start of your opponent's command phase, select one enemy unit within 6 inches of this model and select one aura ability that it has. Roll 3d6. If the result is equal to or greater than that enemy unit's leadership characteristic, until the start of opponent's next command phase, the enemy unit loses that aura. So quite tricky, that one. And the Miraculous ability, while a friendly order core or order character model is within miracle range of this model, each time that model makes a ranged attack, if that attack causes an enemy model to be destroyed to the end of the turn, subtract 1 for the enemy's leadership characteristic. Unit's leadership characteristic cannot be reduced by more than 3 as a result of this Miraculous ability. Again, another tricky one. Strange, that one. Don't think... yeah. Bit complicated to pull that one off. So these ones are simpler. You just shut an enemy unit down. That's it. Nice and simple. And you can have that fixed goal. It's quite a good play. This one here, trickier to execute, so not really, like the first two. The Emperor's Grace next. Now this is 20 points, one of the cheaper ones. So at the start of each of your command phases, this model is healed and regains D3 lost wounds, and each model can only be healed once per turn. So it might be useful sort of half the time, but only if you take your damage. And then Miraculous ability, while a friendly core character unit is within miracle range of this model, each time an attack is made against that unit, your opponent cannot reroll the hit roll, wound roll, or damage roll. So yeah, pretty good. Righteous Judgment. Next is 25 points, sort of medium cost here. Each time you select a target for this model's ranged weapons, you can ignore the lookout sir roll. That's really good. Each time this model makes a ranged attack, an unmodified wound roll of a 6 inflicts 1 mortal wound on the target in addition to normal damage. So that's excellent, bypassing the lookout circle. Then if with the miracle dice, while a friendly, order, core or character models within miracle range of this model, each time a model makes a ranged attack, the target does not receive the benefits of cover. So yeah, that's okay. Right. So scrubbing cover. I guess a good combination. But the ability to pick out characters. And then Blinding Radiance. Okay. I'm just wondering, can you only take one of these for your army, or can you take, obviously can't take duplicates, but can you take multiples of these in your force? Yeah, so it may have just be a choice. Not sure on that one. Blinding Radiance next. So this one costs 15. This is the cheapest. Each time a ranged attack is made against this model, subtract 1 for the wound roll. And then, so it's not that great at all. And then it really isn't that great because it's character. So they're often going to be hidden anyway. So I don't think it's going to be used very much. Unless you're putting it onto a higher value character here. And then you're paying your miracle dice. You'll get while a friendly order core or character unit is within range of this model. Each time a ranged attack is made against the unit, subtract 1 from the hit roll. No, that's alright. Word of the Emperor is best. Then the ability to pick out enemy units with Righteous Judgment is brilliant. And Rapturous Blows. Plus on strength and damage. This is really good. This is a very, very good section here. Okay, so then on to Warlord traits next. So just looking for some enhancements for the army here. Some pretty solid ones, hopefully. Inspiring Orator. Each time this Warlord intones a hymn or uses an ability in your command phase that specifies a range, you can add 3 to the range of that hymn or ability. This does not affect the miracle range of any abilities. And then also the Warlord has the following ability: Inspiring Orator, or whilst a friendly core unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, you can ignore the combat attrition penalty. So quite minor on that one. Righteous Rage. Each time this Warlord makes a melee attack, you can reroll the hit roll and reroll the wound roll. Hit some wounds. Wow, brilliant. Very strong. The Execution of Heretics. Aura. Whilst an enemy unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, it's -1 leadership and -1 combat attrition tests. Beacon of Faith. At the start of your command phase, if this Warlord is on the battlefield, you gain a miracle dice. The miracle dice can only be used when your Warlord performs an act of faith or uses Miraculous ability, and is not used at the start of your next command phase. It's discarded. This miracle dice can be used to perform an act of faith, even if another unit from your army has already performed an act of faith this phase. An Indomitable Belief, an aura ability. While a friendly order core infantry unit is within 6 inches of this Warlord, the invulnerable save models in that unit receive from the Shield of Faith ability is improved by 1 to a maximum of 4+. Yeah, and then Pure of Will. This Warlord can attempt to deny 1 additional psychic power in your opponent's psychic phase, as described in the Shield of Faith ability. Add 3 to deny the witch tests taken for the Warlord. Add 3. Pretty good. Okay, then you got next, still looking good here. Hymns then. So this is similar to the abilities that chaplains get, for example, litanies. It's just called hymns here. So minister on priests and hymns. So looking for some decent buffing abilities and bonuses here that can be transferred onto other units. So you get War Hymn, and there's access to 6 others here. So with War Hymn, if it's inspiring, select one Adepta Sororitatis core character or Engine of Redemption unit within 6 inches of this priest model. To start the next command phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristic of models in that unit. It's brilliant, just extra attack. Very helpful. Refrain of Blazing Piety. If this hymn is inspiring, select one unit within 12 inches invisible to the priest. The unit suffers D3 mortal wounds. If it's chaos, it's 3 mortal wounds. Excellent. Chorus of Spiritual Fortitude. If this hymn is inspiring, select one friendly Minister on core character or Engine of Redemption unit within 6 inches. If the unit or its models are being affected by any psychic powers manifested by enemy models, the effects of those psychic powers end. To the start of the next command phase, that unit and the models it contains are not affected by any psychic power manifested by enemy units. Just nice psychic powers. Okay. Semi-rare that happens in the game. It's not too common, but that's there if you need to shut that down. Psalm of Righteous Smiting. The hymn is inspiring. Add 1 to the priest model's strength and attacks. Improve the armor penetration characteristic by 1 on the priest. And in the fight phase, if this priest model is engaged at range, it can fight 1 additional time. That makes it really good. The Psalm of Righteous Smiting. Next, Litany of Enduring Faith. If this hymn is inspiring, select one friendly sister's core character or priest model. The Ebon save is improved by 1 to a maximum of 4+. Verse of Holy Piety. If the sim is inspiring, select on friendly sister's core, character, or priest model within 6 inches. Select on Sacred Rite. It's not active for your army. That Sacred Rite is active for that unit in addition to any others that are active for your army. Then Catechism of Repugnance. If this sim is inspiring, select one core, character, or priest model within 6 inches. Each model unit makes a ranged attack with its bolt weapon. 6 is auto wound, and then if it's within half range, it's an extra AP -1 as well. So good stuff. Next, the 2 pages of relics. Here, the structure of these books now, it's all coming across as pretty standard. But we're looking at some pretty strong stuff here for Sisters. I imagine Sisters of Battle players are going to be happy enough with what's going on here in this codex. So relics then. Blade of Saint Eleanor. So you're swapping it out for Blessed Blade, and then in return you get +2 strength, AP -3, 3 damage. So an excellent weapon. Brazier of Eternal Flame. Model with a Brazier of Holy Fire only. Each time an enemy demon model makes an attack against the bearer, it's -1 to the hit roll, and the bearer gains the following ability: Eternal Flame Aura on enemy cycles within 18 inches of the bearer. Each time a psychic test is taken, that unit contains any double than its perils. So, yes, okay. Wrath of the Emperor. Quick changes out the bolt pistol. Instead, you'll get range 18, pistol 4, strength 5, -1 and 2 damage. Pretty good. Yeah, not bad. Lots of shots, that one. Listeners of Faith. Adepta Sororitas model only. Once per battle round, if the bearer is on the battlefield, you gain a miracle dice. You cannot reroll the dice before adding it to your pool. And then Mantle of Failure. Canoness model. Each time an attack is allocated to the bearer, the damage characteristic is changed to 1. Not -1, it's damage 1, no matter what it is. That is exceptionally good. -1 damage is great, but knocking it down to 1, no matter what, is fantastic. So there's definitely still the option for cheap characters equipped with Warlord traits and relics and so on, just to stack up on top of them to make them really good. There's some great combinations here. Triptych of the Macaron Crusade. So Sanctified Occult Imperialist model only. +1 toughness, 4+ Ebon save, and then once per turn, the first time a saving throw is failed for the bearer, the damage characteristic of that attack is changed to 0. Yep, Book of St. Lucius, +3 range to the bearer's aura abilities to a maximum of 12 inches. Iron Surplus of St. Estalia as +1 wound. Each time attack is made against the bearer, 1 to 3 always fails, irrespective of the strength, and the bearer has a save characteristic of 2+ as well. These are great. Ecclesiarch's Fury. So this is Chainsaw, +2 strength, -3 and 2 damage. And for a chainsaw, that's fantastic. And each time an attack is made with this weapon, subtract 1 from the hit roll and add 1 to the wound roll. Redemption. Plasma pistol goes to range 18. Sorry, range 12. Pistol 1, strength 8, -3, 2 damage. Each time attack is made by this weapon, if a hit is scored, draw a straight line between the closest part of this model's base or hull and the closest model in the target unit. Make 1 wound roll against each target unit and each other unit in this line. This line passes over. So it's like a beam type weapon going across. There's Sigil Ecclesiasticus. It's a priest model. He knows an additional hymn. Good. And in your command phase, the bearer can intone 1 additional hymn that it knows and has not already been intoned by a friendly model that turn. So excellent. Blessings of Sebastian 4. It's Adepta Sororitas model only. Before you determine which sacred rites are active for your army, select 2 sacred rites to the end of the battle. These sacred rites are active for the bearer's unit instead of those that are active for the rest of your army. Simulacrum's Sanctorum. Imagify model only. At the start of the battle, before the first turn begins, you can select 2 tables for the bearer to recite or recount instead of just one. You cannot select a tale that another model from your army is already recounting unless all 3 tales are being recounted by models from your army. And then Chaplet of Sacrifice, Adepta Sororitas model only. Once per battle, if the bearer is selected to use an epic deed stratagem excluding divine intervention, that stratagem costs 0 CP. Each time the bearer makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll, and when the bearer is destroyed, do not remove that model from play. At the end of that phase, it can either shoot as if it were the shooting phase, or fight as if it were the fight phase. And then after resolving the destroyed model's attacks, it's then removed from play. Yeah, so some brilliant relics in there. And you start getting strong warlord traits, strong relics, decent stratagems. That's your key to building a successful units within the list. So all good so far. So chapter approved then, you're playing the game, you've got your primary objectives, secondary objectives, and now you get some unique ones specifically for sisters here. Are any of these any good? We'll have to see. Okay, so we've got the book here just so that you can compare whether it's worth not going for some of these ones and taking ones from the book instead. So no mercy, no respite, that's across here. So it's up against thin their ranks, grind them down, it's trying to destroy more units. While we stand we fight, keeping the most expensive units alive, 3 most. So instead you get a leap of faith. At the end of each turn, if 2 acts of faith were performed during that turn by Adepta Sororitas units from your army, score 1 victory point if it's your turn, or 2 victory points if it's your opponent's turn. If 3 or more acts of faith are performed by Adepta Sororitas units from your army that turn, score 1 additional victory point. Note that acts of faith performed due to cherub dice bestowed by incenser cherubs do not count towards the secondary objective. You can only score no more than 12 victory points from the secondary objective during the mission. So just basically, as your army functions and you're using these, you just get rewarded for it. So I think that's going to be, I would imagine that's going to be very appealing. There's pressure on grind them down to try and destroy more targets. Sisters of Battle, a little bit of a softer army, so it's not so great. Thin their ranks, not popular for kill points. And then while we stand we fight, again, Sisters, a bit of a softer army trying to keep units alive. So that one, I think it's going to be popular. So off to a good start here. Next then is Shadow Operations. So that's raising the banners, investigate sites, deploy scramblers, on a Tom's favourite, it's one of mine as well now, and then teleport Homer. So this may well be one that's popular here. Sacred Grounds. If you select this objective, then Adepta Sororitas infantry and Cult Imperialis priest units from your army can attempt the following action. So Sacred Grounds. One Sisters infantry or Cult Imperialis priest unit from army can start to perform this action at the end of movement phase if it's within range of an objective marker that's not already been consecrated by your army. The unit cannot start this action while there are any enemy units excluding aircraft within range of the same objective marker, so you've got to clear it and move on to it. So straightforward enough. This action is completed at the start of your next command phase, so you then got to survive a turn on it and keep it clear. Or at the end of the battle, whichever comes first. Provided the unit performing this is still within range of the same objective marker, so you've got to keep that unit that's doing the action alive through to your next command phase. It's a good number of requirements. Got to make sure you really lock the objective down, keeping it clear. So until the end of the battle, the objective marker gains the inspiring terrain trait. See the core book, as if it were a terrain feature. It's not considered a terrain feature for any other purposes, right? So it becomes an inspiring piece of terrain with the rules for that. Each time a unit from your army completes the Sacred Grounds action, the objective marker that was consecrated by the action was wholly within your own deployment zone. You score 1 victory point, otherwise it's 4. So that's going to be objective markers that are in your opponent's deployment zone and no man's land, so ones that may well be quite close to your deployment zone. 4 victory points. Well, that's excellent. And if you performed that on, say, just 2 no man's land objectives, that's 8 points, so another good one. Thing is, you're going to pick one, so players may actually struggle to to make their mind up here. There's good choices already. So both of those are like very much indeed. Purge the enemy. Slay the Heretic. So purge the enemy. We're looking at Titan Hunter, quite rare. Bring it down, so destroying vehicles, but that's been FAQ'd, knock down the value of that. Cut off the head, quite rare. And then Assassinate, popular one for taking out characters, nice and straightforward. But instead here you've got Slay the Heretic. The end of your shooting phase is score 1 victory point for each of the following that applies. So this is depending on the firepower that you have in your army. 1 more enemy unit was destroyed by an attack made by a bolt weapon. An Adeptus Ministorum unit from your army. Ministorum, I have to do it. Okay. And then 1 or more enemy units were destroyed by an attack made by a flame weapon. Again, it's an Adeptus Ministorum unit from your army. And then 1 or more enemy units were destroyed by an attack made by a melter weapon. Adeptus Ministorum unit only. If all 3 of these apply at the end of phase, then you score an additional victory point to maximum of 4. So, a bit trickier that one. And then Battlefield Supremacy next. So engage on all fronts, very, very popular, it's just having units in table quarters. Line Breaker, it's a good scoring one, if you can get it. And then Domination, haven't hardly ever seen that being used. So instead you can go for Defend the Shrine. If you select this secondary objective, after both sides have finished deploying, your opponent must select one objective marker on the battlefield, not within their own deployment zone, to be the sacred objective marker. If the only objective marker on the battlefield is within the enemy's deployment zone, this must be the Sacred Shrine objective marker. At the end of the turn, you score 3 victory points if you control the Sacred Shrine objective marker. Right, quite doable. At the end of the battle, you score 3 additional victory points if you still control it. And at the end of the battle, reduce the number of victory points you've earned from this secondary objective by 3 if your opponent controls the shrine. Wow, good fun this one. So you've pressures on to claim it. So you can imagine a fanatical attack trying to clear that objective and hold on to it until the end of the game. And there's an incentive, big incentive to the opponent, because say the last turn of the game, you get 3 points holding it, 3 points for finishing the game on top of it, but if the opponent can stop you and clear it, they're going to stop you getting the 3 points, stop you getting the extra 3 points, and deduct another 3 points as well. So you can imagine that being a hotly contested in the game. Wow, okay. So a lot at stake for Defend the Shrine, very strongly themed though. It's a good mechanic with that one. So chapter approved rules, looking excellent. So on to Crusade. I don't do Crusade, so just move through these. But so far, look, the Advent Codex, it was okay. It was good. This looks to be excellent. If you disagree, leave it in the comments section. Maybe I'm overreacting, but I think we're looking at here is plus. No doubt these units have been improved, plus the new stuff being added on top, so it really is the golden age for the sisters here. And why not? Games Workshop listened to the community. People, it took a while, but people begged and pleaded for Sisters of Battle, and they've now got this. Some incredible collection, an amazing range of models, and now a brilliant codex for 9th edition. So, are they good enough to start becoming one of the top armies, top performing armies? Will this codex help them in that direction? So, talking about orders, getting your keywords right, same as like chapters and so on. So, abilities then. A unit's data sheet will list all the abilities it has. Certain abilities that are common to many units are only referenced on the data sheets, and then you come back here to find out what they are. So, Shield of Faith. Models in this unit have a 6+ influence save. In your opponent's psychic phase, this unit can attempt to deny the psychic power as if it were a psyker. Each time denial which is taken for this unit, roll 1d6 instead of 2d6 if the result of that test was an unmodified result of a 6, or if it was greater than the result of the psychic test, then the deny the witch test is passed. So you do get an auto block on a 6. So it's worth a go. That's helpful enough. And then Zealot. Each time model that unit makes a melee attack, if this unit made a charge move, was charged, or performed heroic intervention, you can re-roll your hit rolls. So, all good. Next, we'll move on to Acts of Faith. So once per phase, one unit from your army with this ability can perform an act of faith. If you do so, you will use miracle dice. Gaining miracle dice. So if every unit from your army has the Adepta Sororitas keyword, excluding models with the Cult Imperialis, Agent of the Imperial unaligned keywords, at the start of each battle round, you gain a miracle dice. At the end of a phase in which any of the following conditions are met, then again you gain a miracle dice. So there's two here, Vengeance and Sacrifice. So Vengeance, any Adepta Sororitas units from your army destroyed one or more enemy units. Is this capped? I guess it may cover it, but later on, depending on how many miracle dice you get, maybe you just get the one. You gain a miracle dice in the phases. The following conditions are met. You gain one. No, I think it's capped at one. It's not one per kill. Just as long as you kill something, you get the miracle dice. And Sacrifice. You lose a unit. It's been destroyed. Then you'll get a miracle dice for that as well. Note that miracle dice can also be gained via other rules. No matter the source, you can only gain miracle dice from such a rule if every unit from your army has Adepta Sororitas keyword, excluding as agents, Miraculous and underlined. Each time you gain a miracle dice, roll 1d6. The number you roll is the value of that miracle dice. The value cannot be changed or re-rolled unless the roll specifically states otherwise. Keep your miracle dice to one side. This will be your miracle dice pool. So you got 3 miracle dice, you're on them up, you get 6, 3 and 1. Those results just sit at the side of the table, and then when you need that result you use the dice. So performing an act of faith. So as I said, you're taking that result as you need it, and then it's like a fixed result. So you got 2 miracle dice, so you got 2 6s sitting there, you got some massive stretch of a charge, then you can use those miracle dice to help you out. Yeah, so you can use them for advanced rolls, charge rolls, hit rolls, wound rolls, save and throws, damage rolls, and morale tests. So you know, even your 1s are useful. You can save them for morale. So it's a very helpful mechanic here. It really is good. It's talking about modifications of it, it's just set really. So that's pretty much it. Yeah. So very useful. And quite straightforward, really not too complicated. Right, all good enough. It's all done. Games Workshop, just streamlining. It feels very streamlined here. Sacred Rites. Okay, so this unit gains a bonus depending on which Sacred Rites are active for your army. Or after players have determined their mission, you must select one Sacred Rite from the following table to be active for your army. Alternatively, you can randomly determine 2 rites from the table to be active for your army by rolling 2d6. Rolling your duplicates. In your case, these Sacred Rites are active for your army until the end of the battle. Some rules can make additional Sacred Rites become active for a unit during the battle. Duplicate active Sacred Rites on the unit have no additional effect. So it's just something you get before the start of the game, it lasts through to the end. Number 1, Hand of the Emperor. Whilst this Sacred Rite is active, it's +1 to advance and charge rolls. So that's very, very good. Spirit of the Martyr. Number 2, whilst the Sacred Rite is active, each time model that unit is destroyed by a melee attack and does not explode, roll 1d6. On a 6, after the attacking model's unit has finished making its attacks, it suffers a mortal wound. So maximum 6 mortal wounds per phase. And then Aegis of the Emperor. Whilst the Sacred Rite is active, each time that unit uses its Shield of Faith ability to take a Deny the Witch test, if the result of the test was unmodified 5+, or if it was greater than the result of the Psychic test, the Deny the Witch test is passed. Divine Guidance. Number 4, whilst the Sacred Rite is active, each time model that unit makes a ranged attack, unmodified wound roll of 6, the arm penetration characteristic of the attack is improved by 1. So quite minor, that one. And the Passion. Whilst the Sacred Rite is active, each time model that unit makes a melee attack, an unmodified hit roll of a 6 scores 1 additional hit. And then Light of the Emperor. Whilst this Sacred Rite is active, you can ignore all modifiers to this unit's leadership characteristic each time a combat attrition is tested. Each time a combat attrition test is taken for this unit, you can ignore any of all modifiers. Okay, so what I'm going to do here with this review, presuming that it's mostly Sisters of Battle players tuning in here, I'll semi-skip through the familiar stuff. I'm going to focus in on the new models. We'll go through their stat lines in more detail here, just to keep this video quite tight. It'll be long enough, but I don't want to exhaustively go through all the details for all the units here, but just briefly go over some of the familiar stuff, and then we'll focus in on the newer models. Again, it's going to be Tactica, so you know, would I take these models if I was running my own Sisters army? So more than Vol here, the new model, which looks incredible, great concept, very, very good. So what you're getting here is movement 8, so already nice and quick. Weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 5, toughness 5, 8 wounds, tons of wounds, 5 attack space, leadership 9, and a 2+ save. So we're looking at a very good stat line. And you 265 points. It's not cheap. She's not cheap. You're getting a great stat line, but it's expensive. It's equipped with Fidelis, Paragon missile launcher, Lance of Illumination. You can include one of these, named character. So the Fidelis then is range 36, heavy 3, strength 6, -2 damage. So yeah, it's alright, just sort of medium rocket launcher. The Paragon missile is profiles here. So you're picking either range 36, heavy 2d6, strength 4, -0, damage and blast. So yeah, it's alright. Then the Pyrosis missile, range 36, heavy 2, strength 8, -2 d6 damage. Okay, so firepower is alright, but it's not worth the 265 points. So what we're looking for now is good in combat, good abilities to try and make up the value here. So Lance of Illumination, sweeping blow, selecting a profile. So you can go for strength user, which is strength 5, AP -2 and 1 damage. And you get 2 hit rolls instead of 1, so you're getting 10 attacks. So if she finds herself stuck against a lower grade target, then she can swing with the Lance. Or the lunging strike, +3 strength, so strength 8, -3, 3 damage. And any 6s to wound is a mortal wound in addition. So yeah, alright, so not bad. I still don't think it's worth the points unless these abilities are pretty good. So Axe of Faith, Sacred Right, Shield of Faith. The Purgator Miraculous warsuits, so 4+ Ebon save. And then 4+ Feel No Pain against mortal wounds. Holy Aegis, each time an attack is made to this model, halve the damage characteristic of that attack, rounding up. So damage 3 is damage 2, damage 4 is damage 2, for example. Righteous Repugnance, once per battle at the end of the fight phase, if this model has been engaged at range of any enemy units, it can fight again. So yeah, that is good. The High Lord of the Imperium, if your army is battle forged, this model must be your warlord. Ooh. If more than one model in your army has a rule to this effect, then one of those models must be your army's warlord. So she has to be in charge. Abyss Sanctorum Aura, while a friendly Adepta Sororitas core unit is within 6 inches of this model, each time model this unit makes an attack, you reroll hit rolls of 1 and wound rolls of 1, so that's all good. It's starting to look healthy now. Yeah, pretty good. Worth the points. Then Commander of the Adepta Sororitas, in your command phase, select unfriendly Adepta Sororitas core or character unit within 6 inches of this model. To the start of your next command phase, each time model that unit makes an attack, you can reroll the hit roll and you can reroll the wound roll. And that's for anything, shooting or close combat. God. And she explodes as well. Just a mortal wound. Units within 6 inches. Explode on a 6. So yeah, you stick her in the middle of your army, chucking out her own firepower. She's buried behind your own units. She's then giving the units buffs, vital buffs, reroll hit rolls, 1s to wound, 1s to hit. Really good value. And then if the enemy units get too close, or if you're pushing up on the attack, you've then got a model that's quite happy to fight. Well, 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 she is good. Yep, strong enough. Now, what I'm looking for is the Warlord trait. So she gets Righteous Rage. Ah, there you go. Fantastic. So she gets, for her melee attacks, it's reroll all hit rolls and wound rolls. All of a sudden, she's brilliant. But it's the type of unit that you wouldn't throw out into the middle of trouble straight away. To get the best out of her, ever in the core of your army, chucking out the firepower, giving out those buffs and bonuses for multiple turns, and then only when needed and when you think you'll win the combat, you don't want to lose her, then throw her into close combat. But something to be protected and looked after during the game. But an excellent HQ choice, crazy sculpted, great concept. Well done, GW, that's a brilliant one, I think. So moving along, your Canoness, 5 wounds, base of 4 attacks, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+. You can go for all of your upgrades that we talked about, relics, warlord traits and so on, so I'm sure you can get some decent results. Rerolling hit rolls of 1 for attacks for core units within 6 inches. Let's lead the righteous aura ability, 4+ invuln save available with Rosarius. So we'll move on. Palatine. Is that a new model? I think that's. I think the Palatine's a new model. I could be wrong on that one. Power level 3. We'll cover points a bit later on. Do some of the points. So, movement 6, weapon skill and ballistic skill 2+, strength 3, toughness 3, 4 wounds, 3 attacks, /8 and a 3 up save. Comes with a bolt pistol, you can change that to a plasma pistol, power sword and frame crank grenades. So really it's the aura ability here. So you're just rerolling your wound rolls of 1, just as a lieutenant basically. 4+ invuln save, that's pretty much it. Okay. Junif Aruta, not too much going on here, rules wise, just a 10-inch move. This is the walking pulpit type thing. Toughness 4, 7 wounds, 4 attacks. It's got the flamer. The mace is +3 strength, -2 and 2 damage. Yeah, so we'll move along. You got the missionaries. So they know hymns. That's pretty much it. I'm not going to cover all the rules, but most of the rules, you know, are back here already. You know, army-wide type stuff or things that are referenced back here. So really, it's mostly stat lines here. You got Celestine, the Living Saint, and Gemini Superior. So just like to 200 points, which is a fair bit cheaper than Morven Val. The two wouldn't just sit right in the same army, I don't think. You go for one or the other. Yeah. Still an incredible model. Really good. So the blade then, +4 strength, -4 and 2 damage. Each time an attack is made with this weapon, hit rolls of 6 is 2 mortal wounds in the attack sequence, and she's got a base of 6 attacks, 6 wounds. It's all really good. So she can perform an action and restore. Yeah, healing tears action. This unit can start to perform this action at the end of your command phase. The action is completed at the end of the shooting phase, providing Celestine is still on the battlefield. Wounds are restored. All the wounds are restored, or one of those Gemini gets back up. She's got Sky Strike, so she deep strike ability. Angelic Saviour. This unit is able to perform heroic intervention with 6-inch range. And then Life Woods. Whilst this unit contains any Gemini superior models, each time attacker successfully wounds this unit, the attack can be allocated to one of those models. The destruction of Gemini superior models is ignored for the purposes of morale test. If Celestine is ever destroyed, any remaining Gemini superior models in the unit are also destroyed. 4+ invuln save. Armour of St. Catherine. Celestine has a 4+ invuln save. Each time attack is allocated to her, it's -1 damage against her as well. So that's excellent. And then Miraculous Intervention. The first time Celestine is destroyed, roll 1d6 at the end of the phase instead of using any rules that are triggered when a model is destroyed. On a 1, this unit counts as having been destroyed for the purposes of sacrifice. On a 2+, Celestine gets back up on the battlefield as close as possible to where she was destroyed, not within engagement range of any enemy units, with all of her wounds remaining, so she's still getting back up on a 2+. I think it makes her a decent HQ. It's not cut out for taking over every target, but still, I think very good. Good against the heavy infantry. The Triumph of St. Catherine. Yeah, so I'm going to move along here. Keep going. There's 18 wounds on this thing. Toughness 3, 3 up save. Ephrael Stern and Kaiganil of the Bloody Tears. Okay, so we'll take a look at these. So Stern has both of these movement 8. Stern has weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 4, toughness 3, 6 wounds, 5 attack, leadership 9, and 3 up save. Kaiganil has movement 8, weapon skill 2+, ballistic skill 3+, strength 3, toughness 3, 5 wounds, 4 attacks, leadership 8, and a 6 up save. So Stern is equipped with a bolt pistol, Sanctity, frag and crack grenades. Sanctity is a melee weapon, +2 strength, -3 and 2 damage. Each time attack is made with that weapon, ignores invuln saves. Pretty good. And then Kaiganil's Kiss and Outcast grenades. Outcast grenades is Outcast blades is melee weapon, strength use, AP -1. 1 damage. Each time attack is made with this weapon, make 2 hit rolls instead of 1, so you get 8 attacks. Or Kaiganil's Kiss is a melee weapon of +1 strength, 8 -1 and 2 damage. So get Zealot. Wanderers. During deployment you can set this unit on the battlefield. So you get Wanderers, you can just deep strike them in at some point during the game. Divine Protection, models have a 4+ invuln save, each time attack is made against that unit. It's -1 to the hit roll and wound roll. Mysterious Saviour, each time, whilst this unit contains Kaiganil, each time attack is successfully wounds this target, the attack must be allocated to Kaiganil. Each time they lose a wound on a 5+, the wound is ignored. Destruction of Kaiganil is ignored for the purposes of morale test. And then if Stern's killed, then Kaiganil is also destroyed. Knight of Shadows, whilst this unit contains Kaiganil at the start of the fight phase, if this unit is within engagement range of enemy units, it can fight first. And then Demonifuge Aura on a Chaos unit is within 6 inches, -1 leadership characteristic of models in that unit. And each time the unit or 1,000 morale tests, 1 additional model automatically flees, so that's alright. Bolts of Holy Judgment. Start of your shooting phase, roll 2d6, adding 2 to the result if there are any Chaos units within 18. If they are Stern on a 5+, the nearest enemy unit that's within engagement range. And then on a 5+, the nearest enemy unit is within 18 of and visible to Ephrael Stern suffers D3 mortal wounds. The result is 10 or more, it's D6. Then unexpected allies. This unit can only be included in the Adepta Sororitas detachment or an auxiliary support detachment. Ephrael Stern cannot be selected as your Warlord if she is included in an auxiliary support detachment. Okay. Then, so yeah, it's okay. The other HQs seem better, but not bad. Good fluffy theme. Battle Sisters Squad. Astrid, Ferga and Agatha Dolan. Beautiful models, beautiful banner. Excellent. Really good. I mean, fantastic sculpt in here. Absolutely fantastic. So, stat line, I just sort of skip it. It's 5 wounds for Ferga and 4 wounds for Dola. The Blade of Vigil on the banner is +2 strength, -2 and 2 damage. Each time attack is made by this weapon, it's allocated to an enemy unit. The enemy unit cannot use any rules to ignore wounds or it loses. So the Scribe's Staff is +1, it's not worth calling out, +1 strength, AP 0 and 1 damage. So Axe of Faith, Sacred Right, Shield of Faith. Both of them have a 4+ invuln save. The Line of Martyrs. Whilst this unit contains Agatha Dolan, each time attack it successfully wounds this unit, the attack must be allocated to Agatha Dolan. Destruction of Agatha Dolan is ignored for the purposes of morale tests. If Astrid Ferga is ever destroyed, Agatha Dolan is also destroyed. So, bodyguard stuff going on there. Unbridled Ardour. Each time an attack with damage characteristic of 1 is allocated to Astrid Ferga, add 1 to any armor save and throws, and save is a 3+, and on Dolan it's 6+. Recount the deeds of the saints. In your command phase, select one for any Adepta Sororitas character unit within 9 inches of Dolan. Until the start of your next command phase, each time this unit is selected to fight, it can reroll 1 hit roll, 1 wind roll, 1 damage roll. So, yeah, it's okay. And then Auto Tapestry of the Emperor's Judgment. Once per battle in your command phase, Ferga can plant the banner. If she does, To the start of the next command phase, Ferga has the following ability. The Emperor Resplendent aura, whilst a friendly sister's core unit is within 6 inches, all 6 Sacred Rites are active for that unit. And Order Pronatus. If Ferga is included in your army, then the Requiem Stratagem costs 1 fewer command points to use the first time you use it. If Ferga is in a Crusade force, it costs 0 requisition points. And then Hagiolatry. If Dolan is included in the same Crusade army as Saint Potentia model, and if Dolan is on the battlefield at the end of the battle, then Saint Potentia gains 1 additional Saint point. Okay, so it's not bad. Planting the banner's the best bit. So if you've got like a gun line, not quite gun line, but a block of units that are going to sit and hold, then yes. So Ephrael Stern and Cargano is 120 points, quite expensive. I'm looking for elites. No, just 90 points, those 2 models. That's cheap, not bad. Imagifier, Dialogus. We get to those warsuits. Preachers, Celestians. I'll cover points, but not all the points, but I'll cover a good few just to give you an idea of what's going on, what's changed and what hasn't. I love these models, the Sacrosancts. Love the concept of the bolt pistol tucked in behind the shield. Brilliant. And I really like the maces. We'll take a look at this unit. So it's a unit that's imagine them in the heart of your army. It's shields and the maces. Fantastic. So I'd like to know the points cost of these units. Yeah. So it's elites choice here. So you get unit 5. You can get unit 10. So the movement 6. The usual stat line really. Weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 3, toughness 3, 1 wound. Same with the squad leader, 1 wound. 2 attacks base, 3 for the superior. Leadership 8 and leadership 9 for the superior. They come with a 2+ armor save. As standard. Excellent. Now they're equipped with the standard equipment is the hallowed mace, then frag and crack grenades, and then a bolt pistol. So they work out 14 points each. So unit 10 is 140 points. You can give them, the Inferno pistols can cost you 5, the hand flame is 5, the plasma pistol is 5, and Spear of the Faithful is 5. But other than that, straight 14 points. So squad of 10, 140 points, no problem. Anything to give them extra attacks and so on will all be helpful. Any kind of blessings and auras and so on that can be used to help them with that. Bolt pistol, anointed halberd. So if you go for the halberd, it's +3 strength, so strength 6, -3 and 1 damage. If you go for the hallowed mace, strength 5, it's +2 strength, so strength 5, -1 and 2 damage. And the Spear of the Faithful is +3 strength, -3 and 2 damage, so really good. Spear of the Faithful is great. So any number of models can have their hallowed mace replaced with anointed halberd, and I would say exchanging it, you get extra strength and extra AP for the halberd, but only 1 damage. You get 2 damage with the mace though, so it's a difficult choice. Yeah. So then the Superior's hallowed mace can be replaced with a Spear of the Faithful, which I think is a good option to take, and the bolt pistol can be replaced with a weapon from the pistols list. I probably wouldn't bother, just keep them at the flat cost. Axe of Faith, Sacred Right, Shield of Faith. You've got Bodyguard rule, whilst a friendly sanctified character or order character unit is within 3 inches. Any models cannot target that character with ranged attacks. Ignoring the minimum number of models, I think it just counts as anyone in range can protect. 4+ infant save for the Sacrosanct shield. Doesn't give you +1 to the armor saving throws. It's not a full-on power shield or storm shield, but you're starting on 2s anyway. Then Keepers of the Faith. If this unit is eligible to form a heroic intervention, or it is eligible to perform heroic interventions as if it were a character. So that's fitting in nicely with your bodyguards. It can protect the unit and come to the rescue as well. In addition, each time this unit performs a heroic intervention, or an enemy unit declares a charge against this unit, whilst this unit is now not within engagement range of enemy units, this unit can set to defend. If it sets to defend, then until the end of the phase it cannot fire Overwatch. But until the end of the next fight phase, each time model in that unit makes a melee attack, it's +1 to the attack's hit roll. Okay. Then you've got Hospitallers, Dogmata, it's Mace of the Righteous, +2 strength, -2 damage, Sacred Task, whilst the friendly, each knows war hymns, goes on a 3+, it just knows one hymn. Whilst the friendly order core unit is performing an action within 6 inches, that unit can shoot without the action failing. And then inflicting or unflinching determination. Your command phase, you can select on friendly core unit within 6 inches of this model until the start of your next command phase. That unit has the objective secured ability. If a model in that unit already has this ability, the model counts as an additional model determining the control of the objective marker. So yeah, helpful enough. Here we go. Paragon warsuits. So they're movement 8, so they're quick enough. There's a very, very good movement rate on these things. They're still in the elites section. So if you go for multi-models, it's an extra 10 points. It's 240 points for 3. So there's no each. It's 3 models, 240 points. So 80 points a time. They have to stick together, so they... Oh boy. So, okay, so you're getting weapon skill, ballistic skill 3+, strength 5, toughness 5, just 4 wounds on them, 3 attacks base, 4 on the squad leader, 2 up armor savers base. They're going to need a pretty good invuln. I'm not seeing one. It's just going to get 6 up. Oh dear. Not good. I think they need an invuln to save it, at least 5+. Am I missing something? There's no extra rules here. Okay, each model is equipped with a bolt pistol, a heavy bolter, 2 storm bolters, Paragon warblade, frag and crack grenades. Any number of models can have each of their 2 storm bolters replaced by Paragon grenade launcher. We'll check that out in just a moment. Any number, and it's a free swap. Any number of models can have their heavy bolter replaced with a Minister heavy flamer or a multi-melter. I'll probably take the multi-melter. And then any number of models which have the Paragon warblade replaced with Paragon war mace. So, okay. I'm scratching my head here. Is there an invuln save? No. So what they've gone for instead is Paragon warsuit. Each time attack is allocated to a model in this unit, it's -1 damage. Okay. I imagine they could be gunned down fast enough, so you need to be sensible with them. So bolt pistol, heavy bolter, Minister heavy flamer, just strength 6 -1 auto hits. Multi-melter, usual rules. So the Paragon grenade launcher, range 24 assault 2, strength 6 -1 d3 damage. So pretty poor. Still bolters know about Paragon war blades. So you've got blades or maces. So the blades +1 strength, 5 strength 6, 8 -3, and 2 damage, and you get an extra attack as well with that one. So yeah, it's all right. And then the Paragon war mace is +4 strength, so you're fighting at strength 9, -2 and 3 damage, but it is -1 to the hit rolls. Ouch. So you'd need, again, is some kind of buff or help to cancel it out. So +1 to hit rolls will cancel it out. I think that's very important. You can't be swinging on 4s. You don't have tons and tons of attacks. It's not sure what to think about them. The warsuits. Yeah. Okay. Amazing models, but the rules are not incredibly good. I think they'll need help from stratagems and buffs and so on. Repentia Superior, Dominion Squads, skip the page here. Sisters Repentia, the Eviscerators ×2 strength, -3, 2 damage, and it's -1 to hit roll. You got Crusaders, Acroflagellants, Death Cult Assassins, Dominion Squad, Seraphim Squad, Seraphim Squad, Retributors, your heavy weapons. Mortifiers. Penitent engines. All redone. Great work. Exorcist. The Castigator tank. So it's really going to be, it's 11 wounds, 3 up saves, the usual stat line. The Castigator autocannons is, well, that's not bad. Oh, it's not bad at all. So range 48, heavy 4d3. I think it's the first time I've seen a 4d3 shots. So you're looking at between 4 to 12 shots. Yeah, so you're averaging about 8 shots come through, which isn't bad at all. Strength 7 -1, 2 damage. There's tons of autocannon shots if that's what you need. You can go for the battle cannon instead, which you can go for 2 types of shots. Range 72 for both of these. The Sanctified Shell, heavy D6, strength 9 -3 and 3 damage. The D6 shots is a problem, but it is blast though, which will be very tempting to fire into heavy infantry. And then the Pyre Shell. That's pyre, not pie, like a pyre, like it's a pyre, RE. Heavy, range 72, heavy 3d3, strength 6 -1, 1 damage. Blast, each time attack is made with this weapon profile, the target does not receive the benefits of cover against that attack. So it's all right. Yeah. It's okay. The Rhino, the Immolator, and the Battle Sanctum terrain piece here. So it's a terrain feature. After this model is set up, it's treated as an area terrain feature with the following terrain traits. So it's breachable, defensible, light cover, obscuring, scalable, and inspiring. It's consecrated ground or a chaos unit within 6 inches to track one of the leadership characteristic of models in that unit. And prayers to the saints. Whilst there are battle sanctum terrain features on the battlefield, cult, imperialis, priests, and Adepta Sororitas units from can attempt the following action. Pray to the saint action. The end of your movement phase, 1 cult, imperialis, priest, or Sororitas infantry unit from army that's wholly within 1 friendly sanctum terrain feature can start to perform this action. The action is completed at the end of your turn. Once completed, you gain a miracle dice. You can harvest miracle dice with that. And that's it. You've got a terrain feature here. These are weapons profiles, summarised, and then points costs. We've pretty much, I'll call out some of these here just to give you an idea of what's going on. So unit cost, Canoness is 50 points plus your upgrades. Celestine, Gemini 200 points. Stern, we've covered that 120. Junif 130 points. Missionaries are 5 points each. Moran Val 265 points. Palatine 45. Triumph of St. Catherine 220 points. Blessing of the Faithful covered those. Battle Sisters are 11 points each. Ferger and Dolan, it's 90 points. Acroflagellants 13 points each. Celestians or Celestian Squad 13 points each plus all the upgrades. Celestine Sacrosancts 14 points. Crusaders 11 points. Death Cult Assassins 13 points. Dialogos 50 points. Dogmata 65. Hospitalis 50. Imagifier 50. The cheap HQs really good. Paragon Warsuits 240 points for 3 of them. Gosh, 270 points if we took multi-melters on them. Preachers for 25 points. Repentia Superior 40. Sisters Repentia 14 points. Fast Attack Dominion Squads 12 points each. Seraphim Squad 14. Seraphim 17. Castigator, heavy support here, 160 points. Exorcist 150 points. Mortifiers 60 points. Penitent Engines 55. And then Retributor Squad listing all their heavy weapons. The Rhinos 80. Immolators 120. And the Fortifications 80 points. So that's it. That's the review for Sisters of Battle. So the verdict here, I think the rules, just all the rules are looking really good. So you know, your basic abilities, different upgrades you can go for, relics, warlord traits, stratagems, all looking healthy enough. So I'm pretty sure that Sisters of Battle players should be happy enough with the new codex here. but you've got a newer range of models, new stuff being added on top, brand new codex. This is the golden time for Sisters of Battle. So great to see them doing well, and to have come out of obscurity and now full-blown faction with tons and tons of options and all beautifully sculpted in plastic available. So a great time for collecting Sisters of Battle. Maybe you're thinking about an army. Space Marine is a bit boring, a lot of people doing them. Well, maybe this will be, you can be just as zealous for the Emperor collecting these. So that's the review. Keep a look out for more full reviews on the channel. Check out the link below for goblingaming.com. They're the channel sponsors here. If you use that link, you do your online shopping, buying in your models and so on, then we get a little bit of help here on the channel as well, so it's much appreciated. You can check them out for discount 40k. It's a vast range of models and materials available from different gaming systems, but your discount 40k, Warhammer and so on, all available from them. A big thank you to Games Workshop. They sent me a copy through the post to review. There's the video. Keep a look out for more Codex reviews in the future. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time.